It's the Absurd American Nerdcast with your hosts, Freddy and Mr.S.
Welcome to the most absurd, the most American Patriot Salute, the most Nerdcast. Welcome to the chat this evening, everybody. How are y'all doing today? We are joined today by Mr.S. Hole. Say hello, Mr.
What up? Excited to be here as always.
And your other host, Dino Freddy.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. And get ready. Take it away.
Get buckled up. We have a few things that we want to definitely talk about. I know we're a little bit delayed, but I mean, we are in Florida. We've had hurricanes and some other life stuff that's kind of happened to us, so we just wanted to more so have a recap of what we've missed out on the last few weeks, just because we wanted to be safe, and knowing that both Freddie and I are safe and we're good to go. So we've just kind of had a little bit of a time jump here. But first off, we do have Andor. Andor, I think, is being... I really have enjoyed it. It's a little bit slow moving, but I feel like they're setting it up probably for more than one season. We've kind of had this build up to this heist, and finally I'm hoping on next week seeing a heist. Besides that, I've been enjoying the series. I think it's very interesting seeing Cassian from where he was. Kind of you get a glimpse of him as in his childhood to where he is now, to being kind of being recruited into the Rebel Rebellion, and I don't know, it's been very interesting, and I know that his first mission is going to be a wild story so that he can gain the trust into it. But Freddie, do you have any kind of other remarks about it?
Yeah, I just wanted to inform you, actually, that it was greenlit for a second season, but it takes place within a week before Rogue One.
Okay. So they're probably only going to do the 2 seasons on that, and obviously that's where the story ends, is Rogue One.
Yeah, which I'm kind of really excited about, just because it's more Star Wars lore, and I love that they're trying to fill a 20-year gap right now. If you look at the current Star Wars timeline, obviously, from Revenge of the Sith to A New Hope, it's 20 years. And we have so much content coming out for this, and now we have Bad Batch still going on. We have, oh my God, what is it? Obviously the Calrissian, not Lando, Andor show.
Right.
And
we have Ahsoka coming out.
Yeah, we have Ahsoka coming out, which I'm excited for. But I don't know if that's going to take place after Return of the Jedi or during. Between the is it? Did they say it was supposed to be between?
I don't know of any timeline news for it. But it's probably gonna be the before Episode 1. Because I mean, this is gonna probably
take Episode 4.
Episode 4. I'm sorry. This is probably gonna take place right after where Rebels ended, I assume, and I see Sabine teaming up with Ahsoka to go and find Ezra, which we know who has also been cast. So it's going to be let's go find him so that he can help us further in our our missions and goals and stuff for the rebellion. So I'm really excited about that.
I think he's stuck with Thrawn, right, in the unknown regions at the moment, and he's just been with Thrawn the entire time.
Yep, that is correct. So I'm kind of interested to see if they're going to bring in Thrawn and who's going to play him. And then on top of all of that going on, we also have Mandalorian that's going to be coming out, which I'm super excited. And we should be seeing another episode of Boba Fett, right? Within the next year?
You mean the next season?
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to come out next year, around October. There's no official announcement, but I just kind of assume that Mandalorian is coming out early next year, right? February?
It would make sense, and then Boba Fett would probably be close after that. When is Ahsoka? I don't remember the exact date on that.
That is a good question. I don't really know. I think it's coming out this year? Maybe? I
Is it
sound
is it more
so
towards the end of
sure
this
about
year?
this.
I could see that being more of like a end of November, December show, um, especially after finishing up Andor and everything right now. And then you
Yeah.
have Bad Batch, and then you'll probably have Ahsoka
Yeah. Um,
using your good and friendly
I'm trying to
tool
find
called
that out
Google.
for everybody. This is really embarrassing.
Well, it's
What do I
embarrassing for
got?
both of us because I didn't know either, but it's all good
My
because
lord.
Google's
It's
our
coming out
friend.
next year.
Go ahead.
And it's okay, so officially it's 9 years after the Battle of Yavin.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's within Return of the Jedi time. Hold on. I think it's during Return of the Jedi.
That's what it's sounding like.
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
Super interesting then.
That's interesting because like originally, um, like in the original Legends canon, um, Episode 4 is like 3 to 4 years between Episode 5, and then Episode 5 is like the same thing, like 4 or 5 years almost. But now with Disney canon, um, like current canon timeline, um, what is it? It's an 8-year span.
Right. So that means
Yeah.
Ezra's been with Ron for 8 years.
No. Hold on. 6 to 4 after the battle. Oh, okay. Actually, it's 3 years.
Okay.
What? That's crazy. That is so short.
That's going to be so interesting
Okay.
to see how that fits in there.
Interesting.
Like I don't know. I'm really excited to see what all that's going to entail and what we're going to get from that as well. So
Oh yeah,
it's
I'm
a
excited. You
good
said something
time.
about a heist, right? With
Yeah. So
Andor.
in Andor right now they're about to knock over the Empire's quarterly funds and pay like their payroll. So they're actually
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like Ocean 11's esque, if you will, but it's Star Wars, which makes me even more happy because I like both. So
Okay, nice.
basically, you know how in every heist there's always that one last minute guy that gets thrown in.
Yeah.
Kazian is that last last piece of the puzzle. So instead of like seeing the normal heist thing where you see the beginning, middle, end, this has been very interesting seeing from like a writing and cinematic standpoint of watching the newbie be thrown in and what they would have to go through in order to gain the trust and everything of everyone else in order to go through the mission. So they took a really good approach on that, and like I said, I've really been enjoying that. I'm really excited about this next episode because it should be heist time. This last episode ended right where they were going in, and all communications were cut off from the outside. So
Mm-hmm.
they're ghosted going into the facility where they're gonna knock over the Empire, and of course everything's not gonna go as planned, and they're gonna have to have one hero, come out and be the all, and I don't know if it's gonna be Kazian, if it's gonna be somebody else, but I feel like everything when it goes to absolute shit, it's gonna be fun to watch, and I'm super excited for this next episode for sure, because there's gonna be a lot of like tie-ups and everything, and I believe it's season finale, so
Oh,
should
that's
be.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's really short of a season.
it's been what we're at. Well, maybe there might be one or two more, but I think that we're on episode 6 or 7. So if there's, and they've been doing what 8 or 9 for their series. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Obi-Wan was very short as well,
Yeah.
and I don't think we're gonna get another season of that because unless Leia gets in more trouble, because as far as Luke's concerned, he never really was around much unless Luke got into a little bit of trouble. But I mean, there are a few
Yeah.
comic book stories that they could bring to life on that too. So maybe a second
I think
season with that, but I think it'd be a little bit far fetched.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly they ended it on a great note. Don't continue it.
Yeah,
I
I
know
mean,
everybody loves seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi, but
oh yeah, I mean it was,
we
dude, it was such a
there's
great
no
time.
reason to see him anymore.
Right, I totally agree. I think they did a good job. They told the story. They got it done. I really enjoyed it. Unless they give Reva her own little spinoff to follow her journey. That's the only thing I could see that being a good journey for her to try to take on Vader and
Yeah.
ultimately failing instead of, you know what I mean? So that way she's more focused on like a revenge kind of thing towards him
Hmm.
because she was defeated before and we know that she lives and then she
Yeah.
goes after Luke. So maybe her becoming a Jedi and trying to do good and overthrow the Emperor or something. But again, I don't really see that happening. But if there was going to be any other series around what we saw in Obi-Wan, that would be the only one I could really see happening.
I agree.
So,
I
um,
mean, I would love to see more Riva in other media. Like, I
yeah.
don't know, like, because the Bad Batch right now, they're kind of going off on their own, doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be cool to see her, like, show
Kind
up
of,
in that,
kind of go
you
off
know?
and do her own thing too. Maybe she turns into
Yeah,
like a
dude.
gray Jedi and she seeks out maybe Ahsoka or something for guidance and maybe she learns from Ezra. I don't know, but as far as Obi-Wan goes, leave it alone. If you want to do other spin-off series, cool. But do it with a different character. What I'd love to see is a Vader series, but you know, I don't know if we're gonna get that lucky, but we could.
Do you want
Or
to hear a hot
give me a
take that I have
Grievous.
about...
Give me a Grievous series, man. Give me a Grievous series.
Oh my god, when he's, like, the Kalish warlord?
Yeah. Give
That'd be
me
cool.
his origin kind of story up to when Dooku recruits him.
I think we should have when Dooku... Well, okay. In Legends, he's a Kalish warlord of a planet, and he's one of the most successful ones that he actually gives the Republic, like during the Clone Wars, some problems.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but not well at that point. It wasn't really the Clone Wars yet, but he was at the Battle of Geonosis in some media, and then in other media he was introduced after when he was picked up by Dooku, because Dooku actually like shot Force lightning on him and like fried his body, and then that's when he became the machine himself, the cyborg of every Jedi's nightmare.
For
Um,
real though.
Jeez, if you guys ever want to watch what Grievous really was like, I mean, in the Clone Wars, like the 3D animated show is really good. It's a
Right.
good portrayal of him. But if you want to see the Jedi Killer and Jedi Hunter in action, and like it is technically canon
It
because
is. I
that's
know
the only
exactly where
piece
you're
of
going with this.
material that we have of his like coughing being a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we'll get into that a little bit from now, but um, I just feel like
But
General
you
Grievous should show up if they're going to cover between episodes 2 and 3. But I mean, well, they already did in the Clone Wars. That's the problem.
yeah. You see a little bit of his
If they want
lair.
to,
I think it'd be cool to see more of like his parts and machinery for different missions, or like you can make it into like a bad guy series where you're actually following along with the Empire and the rise of the Empire with the Trade Federation and everything, and maybe he had
you
different
should
arms,
show
different legs
why
for
he
all
hates
that.
Jedi the most. What
Yeah,
happened? What
agreed.
fueled
That'd be
his
that that
anger?
that would be a good storyline, and that would fill in some of the past and bring it kind of towards the present, and you could kind of put it wherever you need it to be, like
Oh
a
yeah.
like do one of those timelines where it's present and you watch it go present and then you also watch past and watch how both like grow out backwards. That
Yeah.
would be a good way to do that, so that way you can kind of see from his past and then you can see what he's at now and what's
I
going
feel
on, what's
like
going on for it.
here's this. Like, I have an idea for an episode. What you just like shot into my brain.
Okay.
So, what if he's on a mission and we see this live action, him hunting down just regular Jedi, right?
Right.
But it flashes back to when he used to hunt people on his homeworld, back and forth.
Oh, okay. And how he
So he has
uses
to remember
his stuff from the past in order to what he's used, like to train him, so to speak, for the future.
Yeah,
And what
so
he's
we'll
doing
see
now.
his past self, but like it's all done in present of whatever the timeline is at that
Kind of
moment.
like first few seasons of Arrow, where you would see him in present day, where he was back in the city, and then you would throw back to the island, where he would do a certain thing or learn a certain thing, and then it would flash back to
And he
where
has to
we are.
recall it, yeah.
Yeah, and then you
Because
see
he's
him
having
do
like a
like the
group of
struggle
Jedi.
of
It's
like a
his.
certain move or something, and then you see how he's perfected it to take on what he is now. I like it.
Oh yeah,
I like that a lot. Yeah,
that'd be
I
like
would
the
I would I
dopest
would
episode,
I
you
would
know.
love to see that. Absolutely.
And honestly, like, guys, just check out 2003 Clone Wars, and when you're introduced to Jedi Hunter Grievous, your mind's gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
blown. It's like, why the heck
Plus, you
was he
have
so weak in
Jedi
Revenge?
Jedi Padawan Shaggy, which
Oh my god, yeah.
I just love it because it's everything that you think it is. If you don't know, go watch it because he looks exactly like Shaggy from Scooby Doo. He kind of sounds like him. It's
Well,
hilarious.
that's his name.
I know his name is Shi, right? Shaggy.
Yeah.
And like Gi. Like he's literally Shaggy. Yeah, I love it. Anyway.
I really wish he said zoinks when he died. That'd be too on the nose, you know?
It'd be too much. They might have had like a royalty thing. If that's probably why we didn't get that, to be completely honest. But
Imagine.
the fact that he wears like the green shirt, it's just
And the beige, like,
just too much.
team
It's
with
just too
it.
much. But you know, I absolutely love it because that means those particular animators and writers both are, you know, fans of old cartoons, and they like to put little Easter eggs like that into them. So I absolutely love it. But moving kind of more so to a different Disney section. So we've talked about Star Wars, but moving into Marvel, there is a lot going on in Marvel right now. Let's start
Buckle
off.
up, buckaroo.
Yeah, so I honestly think that we should talk a little bit about She-Hulk. Freddie, I'm gonna shoot it over to you and let me have your thoughts and opinions because we're one episode away from a season finale on it, and I know we missed a few weeks, but wow, they have brought so much stuff into the MCU and so many different theories and ways that they're gonna plug in some of the stuff in the future, which we'll get to in a little bit. But let's talk about She-Hulk. What do you got?
Honey, I thought you never asked. Anyway. Okay, so She-Hulk. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm loving this series. I just wish people would read comics.
Right?
So they understand that what you're seeing on screen is what you're seeing from the comics, like how it's been written,
Right.
why she's the way she is. Like, there's a lot of people throwing hate around, you know? And we don't need that. We don't need extra hate. Just enjoy the time, you know?
Right.
Now, we recently saw an episode where she was at a retreat,
Right.
you know, with the Abomination, the guy from the Wrecking Crew, you know,
And some other
Porcupine.
baddie good guys that were once bad.
Yeah, they're
that kinda
like
turned
really
into good, trying to do-
E-list bad guys,
Right.
you know? Now, you know, it's good because, like, I feel like she touches a lot of subjects where it's more relatable, and I feel like a lot of media these days don't relate to what people are in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying, like, everybody is like that, but what I'm saying is the majority of, like, people that I've met, or, like, myself included, she has a lot of relatable things that people can be like, oh, I've been there before, oh, I feel the same way. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
I get when you don't get, like, you know, whatever, we've all had that,
Or
you know,
you've been
hook-up
around.
situation,
Yeah, like
you know.
you've been around on the internet dating stuff, and you're
Yeah.
not really finding what you really want to find. Some people are using it for good, some people are using it for other stuff, but um, it doesn't mean that it's always bad. But in this case, it is.
But
Unfortunately, we've met some evil doers that have really put a damper in her life up into the most recent episode as well, where she got exploited for a lot of this stuff. So, I mean, shame on particular guys that would do that. But, it's also very realistic because it does happen. And it's
yeah, you're
very
putting
relatable to
yourself
an
out there and you're
audience.
making yourself vulnerable, you
Hmm.
know? Like we all been there. We've all been there, dude. We've all been there. You
Yeah.
can listen to this podcast and be like, "Bit, you lying," and I'd be like, "Nah,
No,
this is true."
this happens.
And you know, I just feel like now I'm again not saying that everyone's like this, but think of like the perspective of others, you know. And I'm
Right.
glad that we see this perspective of others with her, you know, and you know, like she has a lot of person qualities. Not that she's like the She-Hulk,
Right.
but like we see her more toned, more like calm. I mean, obviously she got mad recently, but you know, she's relatable,
Hmm.
and that's why I like it. I
And
like
just
that
like,
it's a
I
character
mean,
that I can watch and be like, I get that.
when it really comes down to it, we all want to be loved for exactly who we are, and
Yeah.
that's really like I see that what the series is everyone wanted to date She-Hulk, but no one really wanted to date Jen. But in order to find that love within yourself, you have to be able to be both and find someone that's going to love and respect you for both, either good or bad. But it's been a very good series about not only self love but finding love in others, but doing it in a right way, if that makes sense.
But here's this though. I mean, who's to justify your right way of finding love?
Right. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
by
Like
the way,
within yourself, like it's been a good,
yeah.
but not like
And I'm
you
glad,
should do it this way. But it's
yeah. I'm glad that we're seeing her see like find herself though.
right.
Cuz this is who she really is, you know?
Agreed.
And you know, you don't have to mask yourself to be who you are, you know?
Hmm.
So,
So
but other than
just
that,
kind of with that series too, do you think that we're gonna get a Red Hulk? I think that it's gonna be
no,
no.
we're
I
never going to get Red Hulk. You know
okay.
why?
Why?
Because the actor who played Thunderbolt Ross died. He passed away.
Right. But they. What if there's an experimentation to create a new one?
Look,
'Cause,
if they
I
can
mean,
pull
they're
somebody from another
so
universe,
no. I mean, they're
well,
they're
you
literally
have.
pulling stuff from King Hulk, where they're obviously after her blood to do some sort of mutation, and they've got it now. And the fact that one of the evil guys has bought vibranium and has questioned whether vibranium can pierce her skin or not. I mean, there's some sort of experimentation going on with her blood in order to create something. So
I
it's either
really
going to be
think it's
another
that
Hulk-like
guy.
things with like an abomination, or is it going to be like a Red Hulk because it's just a different variation of a different variation of the gamma that has been exposed. I don't know. Um,
I I really think it's that guy that's the main villain. The guy who bought the
right,
spear.
right. The rich dude. I forget his name. I cannot think
Yeah,
of his
because he's an
name.
asshole.
Yeah. So that's
Pardon my
he's
French.
he's written he's written off in my head just because of that. But I mean
Wakanda
that's
forever. I'm like, bro, relax.
like no one's buying African garb like I am. No one's on my level. I think he's what he said. And I'm like, who cares? like
Bro,
like
like he
who
is
cares
that
what you buy
white
and
guy
what you're
that's
holding on?
like,
Like
yeah, I have,
he's
you
trying
know,
too hard. He's trying way
he
too hard to be
is.
accepted in society, and he's doing it the absolutely wrong way.
Yeah.
It comes off a little. Yeah.
I
Anyway,
will say this: I was very excited to see Leapfrog.
right. And the fact that
He,
they were true with the comics as well, where he inherited it from his dad, and his dad being
hmm
like more of a villain, and he was trying to be more of a hero. But just like in the comics, he's like a fuck up hero. He messes up
Oh
all the
my god, he is
time.
like an X list
Oh, hilarious!
superhero.
When he jumped out the window and just slammed and broke his legs, which does happen in the comics. I was happy
Oh,
for multiple reasons. What a
um,
hero. But
I am.
I do want to get into, and I want to hear your thoughts on the most recent episode. We saw a certain character finally, and we got to see them, which what you wanted in the courtroom, and that is Mr. Murdoch as Daredevil.
Yes, we saw the classic gold and brown color scheme,
Right.
and it looked amazing. I
Looks
mean,
so good.
it could be gold and burgundy. It just depends on which comic you're reading.
Hmm.
Like the Tim Sale, Jeff Loeb, Daredevil Yellow series, which is amazing. Please check that out. Um, I was so excited to see my man because he literally looked at She-Hulk when he got up and he goes, "Jennifer, I'm Daredevil," and she's like, "I don't know who the fuck you are."
Right.
like,
we're not
like,
we're not in New York. We're not in New York
and it was
anymore.
the theme song too.
Yeah, and he played the
Like,
theme song from the Netflix series, which means everything is just perfectly in canon and everything, which again made me so happy. Another thing that I thought that made me super happy was his abilities, and you could really see more so of what he can do.
Thank
From
God they showed him as an actual acrobatic.
right, just like from running through the where she collapses the top of the parking lot, like he was just running, and then he's like, my ass remains unkicked. And then he when
Yeah.
he was flipping down the building to the hallway scene, which was amazing because we got his baton and the full force of him using that. Just everything about
I'm
that made
glad it
every
wasn't
fan so
just two
happy.
sticks. It was the fucking rope, and he
Yeah,
just went, cha! Like, it was
smacked him
so
in the
dope,
face and it
man.
retracted back. I mean, even her smashing down like to end like three
That
of
was
them.
great.
That was such a perfect ending in that too. Um, then of course we have the end scene there where she's accepting an award and it goes to everybody because another real world situation, which is ridiculous, but it does happen again. So we're relating to everybody. Um, I honestly, I say it's ridiculous because in my mind, it's absolutely ridiculous that women get treated that way. But the reality is that it does happen. So
Oh, yeah.
explaining that and bringing it to light and everything, like kind of putting, hopefully people will see that and put themselves more in check in that perspective because it's a real world thing that should not be happening, but sadly it
I
does.
mean, just because, like, you don't go through it doesn't mean others are not
Exactly.
going through it.
Yeah. So I I like that they at least touch in that and like bring that to light, so saying like so everyone can know that that kind of BS is wrong.
hmm
And then we go into, of course, the threats against her life and all that stuff towards the end, and that brings us up to our lovely cliffhanger until next week, where I'm really
Now,
excited.
I do want to bring up everybody that's listening, and even if it's like 12 people, I just want to put this out there. Matt Murdock, Daredevil, he's a slut. He really is.
Watch the Netflix
That
series.
man,
He is, but he's
I
cheating
honestly
because he
think,
knows how to register heart rates and know whether or not someone's interested and not interested in him. He can literally
oh my
like
god,
read through
yeah.
it. So he is such a playboy that it's insane. And again, like that brings such a cool thing to light as well, because even if people with disabilities, there's amazing things that people can do with disabilities to do really awesome things. So I mean, he's using his abilities to be a hoe, but he
For
also
him.
uses he also uses his abilities for the good and everything as a hero. So just because you have a
Good for him and
disability
good for
does not
Jen.
mean that you cannot be a hero in today's society, and I love that aspect of it as well. But he is a hoe.
Oh yeah,
He is definitely a hoe. So,
we're all hoes at heart for something, you know.
right? Exactly.
Whether it's from Taylor Swift to Deadpool.
I mean, I'm a hoe for Star Wars,
Speaking
but
of
that's
Deadpool,
right. Well, that this is something else that I'm so excited about, and that's of course Deadpool 3. We're bringing back Wolverine. Ah, this is gonna be
oh,
the match made in heaven that we've been joking around for the last two movies, and I'm so happy
um,
that we get to see it on the screen.
have you? I have a question.
Mhm.
Do you remember? I think we talked about this like a couple years ago, so you could say, "Nah, I don't remember." But I specifically remember that Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart was doing an interview for Logan, and they said if they would ever come back to play these characters, the only way they would come back to play them is if Disney bought the studio.
And Disney bottom.
And Disney bought it, and look at them now.
They're
Look what
coming
you
back.
did me now. Mm-mm.
We got Patrick
Oh my
Stewart
god,
back in
yes.
the most recent Doctor Strange film, and then we've gotten. I hope that they kind of bring him back for this. Maybe a little
I
cameo
hope
action.
maybe because that's the from what I remember someone saying that's the the Professor X from another universe, the
Right.
97 X-Men universe to be
But what
precise.
if that is the universe that Deadpool and Wolverine are actually intertwined together in?
I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be brought into the Marvel universe by an incursion.
Okay.
And now we see that we have so far four mutants. We have Immortal Man, Namor. We have my God, who are the other two? Sorry, I am blanking really hard right now. But we had Professor X introduced, and we also have one other person that I'm completely spacing on right now. But we have so far four mutants in the universe,
So do
and
you think that?
now
Do you
with
think?
Deadpool being, what's up?
No, no. Go ahead. Now with
Now
Deadpool.
Deadpool is actually coming out November 8th, 2024 now.
Okay.
Uh, So Disney kind of did this weird thing where right now they just kind of announced that they're pushing back, dates and stuff, and we'll cover that a little bit later in the video and in the podcast for those who are listening or watching. Um, but I'm excited because now this gives them more time to actually work out a great film. Because I'm gonna be
Right.
honest, like I loved watching Deadpool 1 and 2. Deadpool 2, like we had the what Juggernaut is supposed to look like.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Vinnie Jones and his one-liner. But I loved how Colossus looked because he looks accurate to the comic, you know?
Right.
And I'm excited to see like what if Deadpool is just going through the universes?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Like what
So
if and then when he's like, "Oh, I'm so tired." And he lands
okay, so this kind of leads into my fan theory that I've kind of heard, and I want to get your reaction on it too. Okay, so
All right, let me hear it.
what this is my thoughts because I think you're going for more House of M kind of thing with how things are going and things are appearing. Yeah.
Kind of just
Okay.
because of the events of House of M.
I think
Not
that
well, WandaVision is still going on.
I think with House of M is how we get like mutants and other superheroes and everything. Let me rephrase that. House of M is how we get mutants, but how we get people like that aren't mutants with like powers is going to come from the incursion from Loki and him splitting the TVA. So I think, or again, a fan theory that's kind of been put out there, that what if the TVA arrests Wolverine, Deadpool, and Cage to help recreate the timeline and help the branches skew down.
I'm sorry, who?
So, isn't it? It's Johnny Cage, right? No, not Johnny Cage. What's the time guy in Deadpool 2? It's Cage. It's something Cage.
The time. I'm sorry, what?
Isn't there a character that's like in Deadpool that's like a time cop?
No, not that
Okay.
I know of. He
I
has
thought.
a henchman buddy called Bob,
Okay.
but
Well, then I'm thinking of this
he
wrong. But what if they? What even so? Let's focus on like what if they got arrested by the TVA to help out with King the Conqueror?
well, here's this. So Quantumania is our next look at
Mm-hmm.
Kang the Conqueror, and that I feel like is going to start the incursion
Okay.
because we're going to see Kang interact with Ant-Man, which is crazy because I saw a weird preview was debuted at New York City Comic Con or something, D23, and I saw Ant-Man talk to Ultron. I don't know if others have seen this,
Interesting.
but I think Ant-Man's going to start your fan theory,
Okay.
but I think it's going to carry into Loki, and then it's going to carry into Fantastic
Well, I
Four.
mean, it would make sense that it would carry into Loki because the quantum realm is where the TVA is technically at, and
Yeah.
that's how they can move through time. But I just think it'd be interesting to have time travelers because they have broken time laws. I mean, Wolverine went back in time to change the future.
Oh, Days of Futures Past. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it would make sense that the TVA would arrest him and reset the timeline and put him in holding, and then Deadpool as well. So if you have these prisoners that are also assassins, wouldn't you call upon them in order to help with Kane?
But here's the problem. The TVA only has to do something if it's not a part of what's supposed to happen.
Right,
Because
but
if
the
you
branches are
remember,
right now.
yeah, true, but at the same time, like, Days of Futures Past is supposed to happen the way it's supposed to happen. If not, something gets erased, something does this. But yeah, I could see if from that timeline, they get pulled in. That'd
And
be pretty
they could
cool.
also use that in order to fix where in the timeline all the other X-Men stuff fits too.
Hmm.
So it's just like a cool concept that's how they could piece together all the X-Men stuff into the Marvel universe and make everything canon
Hmm.
just to make it work. So I don't know. That's kind of my theory on how that's gonna go, but we'll have to see,
But
right?
I do think that like the Fantastic Four is going to start the incursion, just because the current new time slate that just happened. It's Fantastic Four comes out February 14th, 2025, right? And that's the last Marvel movie until May 1st, 2026, which is Secret Wars. Now we do have shows in between that, but I do
Right.
feel that the Fantastic Four, in some way, is going to start the incursions. It's because Reed Richard, Reed Richards actually brought that up in the New Avengers Everything Dies or Everything Ends storyline. And that leads into Battle World, which I think in Battle World, when we see that happen, I think that's when mutants are going to be more introduced and we're going to get more characters. Because here's the thing, like, I know that She-Hulk isn't really going anywhere or anything is happening, and that is
Right.
totally fine. Nothing
I mean,
needs
the
to
only
happen
thing
right
that
now.
I'm curious about and what's going on is that Bruce Banner is gone, and I wonder what he's been doing and when he's going to come back.
I think he's
But we
coming
also
back
have a
next episode.
Hulkverse movie too, so
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. He's coming back next episode because there's
I
stills of
guarantee it.
him fighting Abomination. Spoiler alert.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
This next episode's going to
Um,
be wild, and I absolutely am on board for it.
but the thing is, nothing needs to happen right now until Secret Wars. Um,
Right.
nothing major
A
needs
lot
to
of
happen.
build up and
Everybody, we're
character
building the
introduction.
roster.
Right. That's what we're doing. I mean, after Endgame, it's kind of like, all right, we need to be able to build up our Avenger roster again in order to take on the next step. And literally, what
Mhm.
they're doing is giving us origins for everything, just like they did in all the movies. But they're just like, if it's a smaller character, they're doing shows. And if it's like a bigger character, obviously we're seeing them in the movies, but we're also getting smaller characters and stuff in the movies too. So I mean,
But we're
and we
also
also have big
getting
characters in the shows. So it's going to be really awesome once everything is out and we see everything that we are watching now come together all in one, and I'm ecstatic about it.
I mean, Secret Wars is the largest ensemble of superheroes. Like Battle World has everybody everywhere, and it's probably not going to be the same Battle World. But the thing is, like, this is when Spider-Man gets his black suit. This is when everything cool happens. Like, Secret Wars is bigger than Infinity War, and Secret Wars is the probably next to um, DC Comics like Infinite Crisis. It's literally right there. So nothing needs to happen right now. I mean, you're gonna see key points of it leading up, but everything, all these shows, all these characters, whether it's She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Deadpool, this and that, they are all coming into Secret Wars Battle World, and we're all gonna see them all interact.
The movies from what we've seen in shows. I mean, Moon Knight's gonna be in a movie, and that movie looks freaking awesome too. So I mean, I'm really excited about everything that's coming out with Marvel. I'm excited about everything that's coming out with Star Wars. I think Disney is doing an amazing job with all the production values and making sure that the fans are really getting everything that they really want. Some of it's a little bit slow moving, but I feel like once you hold on and you really see where everything's going, it's going to be really awesome. So I'm excited to see all that stuff kind of come out and play together. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do about timeline stuff and how they're gonna pinpoint in and make it all work, because that's exactly what they're working on doing. So kudos to them. I say we move forward and we talk about something else that I know that we're absolutely enjoying, and that's gonna be House of the Dragon. And then we've missed out a few weeks of this. So we saw Rhaenyra when she was younger, and then we did a little bit of a time jump, so now we see Rhaenyra's kids, and we see all the struggles and quarrels that go on through that. And I mean, we've gotten house attacks, we've gotten dragons that are gaining new riders, losing new riders, to, you know, legitimacy being questioned, of heirs to bloodlines to everything. So this series has been absolutely wild, and I'm enjoying every single minute of it. I personally have not read the books. I know that you have read the books. It is what it is. I enjoy cinematic more than I do reading, and I know that you enjoy reading and getting the details more, and that's one reason why we do so well at podcasting with everything. So, from a book perspective, though, how are they doing? I feel like it's pretty accurate. I know there's some stuff that's missing, some things that have been twisted just a little bit to make it fit into what they're doing.
Well,
but from your perspective as the books, you know, what do you think?
Here's something that, so I think I've mentioned this before, that it's a history textbook. It's highlighting key things that happened in the Targaryen dynasty. But the thing is, there's like, instead of his ship or the sea snake that died in the recent episode, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it yet, but they just didn't show his death, right? But apparently, I think from what I remember, he died from a really bad illness. And I think they mentioned that very briefly, but they also mentioned that he got his throat slit. Like,
they said it was a fatal wound, and he was returning to Driftmark, but he might not make it back to Driftmark alive. That's kind of where the most recent episode has kind of dropped us off.
So I'm just kind of like following it how I see it on screen. You know. But it's been pretty accurate towards the book. Like, everything's kind of falling in line to where it needs to be right now. And, you know, I want to say that I am so excited for this show because like it makes me excited to watch Game of Thrones again.
Right.
But I just know how it ends, and I hate that aspect. Like,
You love and
here's the
hate it
thing:
at the
if you
same time.
watch, yeah, you watch Game of Thrones, the original series, you watch it up to season 8, episode 3, with the first part of episode 4, you're gonna die a happy person. Because I can tell you this right now, they did what they had to do, and nothing else matters after.
Right.
Like, I hated King's Landing episode so bad. But anyway, this recent episode, we saw, obviously, the questioning bloodlines and stuff like that. You know, the legitimacy of the bloodline with Rhaenyra's kids, which, obviously, we all know they are actual bastards.
Right.
But, obviously, like, Viserys doesn't... I think he just doesn't care because it's family.
Right.
You know,
That
at the
poor
end of the
king,
episode,
man.
he wanted to just be with them.
Right. He
You
knew
know?
that his time was very limited. Everyone was back together, and he really just wanted to have at least a last meal with his family, and he at least got it. They put on a good face, but as soon as he was out the door, all the insults and all the bickering just picked right back up again, especially within the kids. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
the two moms, Rhaenyra and the queen. What's the Queen of Hightower's name? I'm drawing a blank right now. It's my turn to draw a blank.
I always draw a blank. Sorry,
Well,
guys.
anyway, sorry. I'm horrible with names, and that's not just in series. That's in personal life too. I'm horrible
Oh,
with
yeah.
names. But we see the Queen and Rhaenyra, and I feel like they finally kind of make a little bit of amends at towards the end. With toasting each other, and unfortunately that doesn't change anything between the kids. The kids are still going to quarrel, but of course at the end of the episode the queen overhears Viserys talk about the secret of the Targaryens and the Song of Ice and Fire, and she takes that as her son and not who it legitimately is.
Yeah, because that story is only told between people that are of the succession, you
Mm-hmm.
know? That story is only brought down from them, and that's the blade that's supposed to do it, you know?
Which,
Prophesized to do it.
spoiler, it does.
Um, and I like that even he tried to do good on his last moments on being alive, just fucked it right up.
He messed everything up. So I mean, we saw shit hit the fan, with the kids, especially with the dragon riding and all that stuff. Um, we saw shit hit the fan there, and then we kind of time jumped a little bit more again, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we have the succession line here, and of course we have somebody else that wants to be heir to Driftmark, and he comes in to make his points, and instead um, insults the legitimacy of Rhaenyra's kids yet again out loud in the throne room in front of the king, and he's already threatened that I'll have your tongue if this is ever spoken again. And Damien just kind of takes everything but the tongue in his slash, doesn't he? He literally
Bro,
cuts
he
his
made
head
that
off. And is
man's
like,
head launch.
oh, here's a question. One, no longer a question because he's gone. He's dead. Two, you said cut out his tongue. I left everything but the tongue on his head.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Absolutely wild.
That was a
I'm-
clean slice, man.
and it's a Valyrian steel sword. It cuts so cleanly, just. I saw that and I almost dropped down. Like, what?
I shouted at the TV. I said, "What?"
Yeah, it was, and it. I see this show at first. It was very kind of slow, but I mean, it was very necessary to get all the information and bring us to where we are. Every
Exactly.
time jump, they do a really amazing job in their writing and everything to really let us know, hey, we made a time jump. This is where we're at right now. Let's give you all the information, all the stuff that's going on in between all the characters right now, and let's move forward. And they've done that in like 1 or 2 episodes, and then we'll do another little time jump, and then we get all the information we need, and we're building again. So we did another little time jump here, But this one was very much a big turning point with everything that's going on. And again, amazing series. Looking forward to watching more of it. And obviously, there's going to be multiple seasons bringing us up to the actual Game of Thrones instead of House of the Dragon. So
I think
we
it's going
gotta.
to end with the birth of Daenerys.
That would make sense.
I really believe that's where it's going to lead, and that's where it's going to end. And this show is going to have so many people in it, like
Right.
revolving characters and actors and actresses.
Once we get closer to where Game of Thrones actually takes place in this show, I'm very curious if they're going to bring some actors and actresses back. And if they do, because some of I don't think we'll have so much of the children actors, but like, I feel like some of the adult actors we can bring back and de-age them just a little bit to, you know, bring them into. I don't know. I think that that'd be a cool idea just to really make it so that both the shows kind of intersect and make sense. But we'll see. And then, what a time to be alive to be a nerd right now, because everything is just going so perfectly. But yeah, that I feel like it's just going to be great. I can't say anything else besides the King definitely deserves an Oscar. Wow.
I mean, that whole scene coming up the stairs and everything is improvised, bro. Like
right.
his crown falling. Like
yeah, the crown wasn't supposed to fall off, and then Damien picks it up and hands it to him as like a brotherly love thing, which obviously those two have had problems galore in the past, and the fact that he did that to show him that he still loves him as a brother and he's there for him, even to pick him up in his weakest moments, I thought that was amazing. So I didn't realize it was completely impromptu. I knew that the crown wasn't supposed to happen, and that happened, and that moment was perfect for being improvised. I didn't know the whole
that
thing
was the
improvised.
improv part. That was the whole him coming up to pick it up. That was the improvisation. Like that scene was supposed to be him going up to the throne.
Just amazing acting that's going on in this series. Just so
also,
great.
The costumes are beautiful. Oh my god! Every episode, I am more and more impressed by costume design. Like, look at Rhaenyra's dress in this current episode. Like, excuse me? It's beautiful.
Bigger budgets mean better things.
Oh, man. Speaking about bigger budgets, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, we are actually going to be starting a watch through of that.
Right. We're wanting to get through our She-Hulk stuff. We're wanting to get through all the Marvel stuff and talk about that, and then we're actually going to be doing a watch-through series of Rings of Power, and we're also doing a watch-through right now for the rest of Game of Thrones, which is exciting as well. So if you haven't checked those out, check out our watch-throughs where we just kind of watch the movies with you guys, watch the TV shows with you guys, and kind of like pick apart and what we think is really cool as we watch it, and it's a fun time. It's a great way to spend some time with us. So make sure you're looking and clicking on those watch throughs, and be looking out for us watching Rings of Power. I, for one, am not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I enjoy the movies and everything, but I haven't been the biggest Lord of the Ring fans. We're probably going to be watching through the Hobbit series, because that's another series that I have not personally watched, and I definitely want to watch those as well. So we're probably going to be doing some fun watch parties. If you guys are Lord of the Rings and Hobbit fans, make sure you guys are tuning in, because we're going to be watching those and hanging out and watching those.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be watching those all the time. You said watching those like 40 times.
Watching those. We're going to watch those. We're watching those while you're watching this and watching those.
Oh, man. That was great.
Watching.
Yes, I just seductively say it in the ear. Just enjoy my voice. So, yeah, we're going to watch those. We're also going to check out some other stuff that Steven, Mr.S, hasn't seen yet. Now, we're going to be posting polls on our YouTube page Twitch, all that other stuff to see what you want him to watch first, what show, movie, and we're gonna try to pump out about 2 of those like watch throughs, either a show and a movie a week, or every other week. We're
Maybe,
still trying to figure out the schedules on everything, but we will post schedules on our YouTube page and Twitch page and other stuff as well, so
yeah.
you guys know when to tune in.
Follow along so you
Um,
watch Steven get cultured. It's gonna be great.
yeah, it's a great time. I love watching this man's reactions; they're great. And then me behind him just going, "Are you kidding?" Just kind of like hype manning him. So
And
it's
if
gonna be a
you
good
are
time.
looking for a series that is very creepy and very interesting to watch, I would definitely suggest watching Dahmer, which is on Netflix right now. And we've both finished the series. We're gonna kind of just chat about it as a whole, just because it's very. It was very interesting. Like, I wanted it to be more gruesome and see. I know that's gonna sound horrible, but I wanted to see the murders and everything. But I think the way that they did it, it left a lot to your imagination, because obviously you can't really portray those because we don't know exactly what happened, but we know things that did happen. So I think that they did an amazing job in the series to leave it to your imagination to what's going on as you're watching the neighbor listen to everything that's going on. Um, Very creepy, very wow. Um, I mean, shout out to the acting in that too, because it was very,
Oh yeah.
very well done. Um, Obviously, it's his life, and some things that a lot of people didn't know, kind of background stuff, and just kind of put a eerie perspective, especially around this time in the Halloweenish era
You
that we're
know,
in right now. So it's just like a good creepy series that came out right at the right time.
I've seen a lot of people say that they're glorifying Dahmer, which I don't really truly believe that. I think it's showing signs of what to look out for. I
Right.
mean, how are you going to know if doing this with your kid is going to result in this? But remember, he was abandoned, he was left alone, he tried reaching out to his parents, but they just kept ignoring him. Like, he
Right.
literally was trying to talk to his dad and his dad's girlfriend in the diner, and
Right.
they were just like, "Oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do this." And then like they were just like not trying to believe it. So like I think it more focuses on the victims and what they went through, and that's a good
Right.
thing, because like those people probably never had their, like, I mean, they had their story and what happened to them, and you learned
Right.
about them, but you feel more for the families and the victims more than fuck Dahmer. Like, that guy
Right.
like got what was coming to him. I didn't know he died in the prison, per se,
Yeah,
the
I
way
didn't
that he
either.
did. I thought they honestly brought back the lethal injection and killed him. Like, the only people at this point, uh, but since seeing Dahmer, that died from state punishment or capital punishment was Ted Bundy in Florida. He got the electric chair.
I
I didn't
mean,
know Gacy got lethal injected. I didn't know Ed Gein got it,
right.
lethal injected, or
Well, it was
whatever he did.
illegal in, where was he? It wasn't Wisconsin. Where was he?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. I
Hmm.
mean, it's illegal to do lethal injection, and death penalty is not around. So for him, he was literally life sentence sitting there, where I mean,
Yeah.
he really shouldn't have lived for what he did. He
Oh
he
yeah.
he really shouldn't have. But that just, state laws are state laws. So yeah,
I mean,
I, you,
you gotta fight. You're gonna fight somewhere.
yeah,
But I just feel like I love the portrayals in the show. I thought the writing was really good from Evan Peters playing Dahmer. Like, you couldn't have picked a better person to play a crazy person,
right. And they
or
gave
like
you
someone like
just
that.
enough where you could really follow in and see, like, feel like you were a part of what was going on, but left just
Yeah,
enough out where you could really, in your mind, think about what was really going on. And yeah, like,
it
watching
was
it
just the
really definitely
dive
creeped me
into
out.
madness. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
his justification of what he did.
Yeah,
And that's why I loved, even with the first episode, it was the night he got caught. I thought that was a brilliant way to open that show.
right. And then like again, like we kind of talked about that earlier, having those timelines that kind of here and there, and this is like then we got to look into his past, and then we saw all the way up to his first kill, and then I, it kind of went back and forth, and then feel bad for the parents because the parents were blaming themselves, blaming each other on what happened, and I mean, you can't really blame yourself if someone was messed up mentally, and you didn't get them the help they needed. I mean, you can't really blame yourself either, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
mean, I get, like, I can get parents, like, giving up. I
right,
mean, like, the kid's messed up, but again, remember, there is some accountability, and the dad didn't really take any accountability until his son was, like, in prison, really.
right.
Like,
It was a little bit too late.
he always tried to blame the mom. He tried blaming this. He tried blaming this, and then he
Hmm.
just had to take a step back and just look into himself and be like,
Yeah,
"Fuck, I'm the problem." Like, you know,
where
like,
it's really kind of like both of them had like dual faults in how he became what he became, but at the same
mhm.
time, you can't like if it's in his mind that this is okay, it's if he would have studied and became a mortician, you know what I mean? Maybe life would have been a little bit different. But
Life is full of what ifs, man.
instead he was left alone and this, that, and the other, and he became what he became because
Yeah,
he was taught at a young age that dissecting things is cool and fun, but there wasn't really a limit put onto it besides it being animals. And then as he grew up, he became more and more interested in all this other stuff. But I don't understand how people become cannibals, but that's past my level of expertise, and I'm not gonna go into that. But
I don't
like,
know. We should call
wow,
Army Hammer to see what he really has a take on him. You know.
yeah. Maybe on
um,
next week's episode we'll have a phone in line.
hey, hey, what's your good cooking techniques for phalanges?
It's like in Disney with the Trader Sam, and the joke of like, if people that don't know the ride Jungle Cruise, at the very end there's a character that's called Trader Sam, and he is a head salesman where he sells shrinking heads, but he's also known as a cannibal. And one of their jokes is, Sam, I love the stew you made for dinner. Your wife makes a lovely stew, and the joke and the punchline is Sam turns to him and says, "I know, I'm really gonna miss her." Oh man. Anyway,
Of dark humor.
little Disney dark humor, I guess there.
There you go. There you go.
But moving forward, again, that was a very good series. Highly suggest watching it, especially if you're looking for something kind of eerie and creepy during the Halloween time. Definitely check that one out because I'm not a big horror gore person. Freddie will tell you that I'm not. So the fact that I put myself out there and watched that and really kind of saw that through should really tell you something that I found it to be a very interesting and very captivating series, if you will. Because once I started watching it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch one episode, and I ended up watching two. Like
Yeah.
it really much sucks you in and everything. Um, but I feel like on a more positive note, moving into the fun stuff in the world,
I
we
don't know if
have.
this next subject is positive for Overwatch.
Oh yeah, but I know that we have some gaming stuff that's coming up that both of us are very much excited about. Um, Freddie's very excited and has been playing Overwatch 2, and I am going to be very excited about Modern Warfare 2, which is a Call of Duty game, and of course we're dropping Warzone 2 as well. But first, I'm going to just kind of hand it over to Freddie so he can talk about some Overwatch stuff. So Freddie, give us the beans.
Well, Okay, guys. Obviously, whoever's been playing Overwatch and who's been kind of seeing the news, they've been having a lot of load times. Like people trying to join in, like first day, like the servers were just not having it. Like people were behind like 40,000 people and whatnot. Like I just kind of wish like Blizzard, like by this point, understands like, hey, maybe we should have more server space, because they are a multi-billion-dollar company. They have World of Warcraft, which they should know the importance of servers, and they should also understand with Call of Duty the Activision side.
I
You
agree.
know,
They should have more servers in Call of Duty
and
as
it's
well.
yeah, it's also like like for a company that's like inexcusable, but I know because it's a free video game, that's why they probably had a lot of problems. Now, I'm not saying like free video games are a bad thing, and I kind of wish multiplayers were free. But you would have to, if you want extra stuff, just buy a battle pass. That's that's really all you should really do. Um,
Agreed.
but the thing is, though, like I was playing like yesterday, and I realized Torborn and the mechanical, I forget his name, that mechanical like robot thing that has like a gun turn on it. I forget his name, but he's really cute. Um, they just took him out of the game. I was like, man, I just played with these guys, and they just live service took them out of the game. I didn't have to update my game or anything. Like they just were taken out,
Interesting.
which is the craziest thing, and I didn't know that they were able to do that. So when I was seeing it, I was like, hold on. I just spawned in with this character in like a game that I just got out of, and now they're not here, which was crazy. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun, playing Overwatch 1 again, because basically Overwatch 2 has just those same maps. I got all my characters, and all their costumes back, and I was like, so why didn't they add more maps to this game or just create, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, create
Right.
an additional, like, 18 maps or whatever, and then had the original, like, 12 or 13 with it?
Right. Where's the new stuff,
Yeah,
so to
exactly.
speak?
And it's all through like if you want cosmetics and stuff like that, you just have to buy the Game Pass, which I'm like, I don't want to shell out $20 for this. Like, I want to earn stuff through like, earn it by playing
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah. I can totally see where that could be frustrating. Is you put in the hours of playing the game, but then there's not a like give back for all the time that you've actually spent doing it.
Oh, of course. And also the progression system, from what I've noticed, is actually slower now.
Oh,
Like
jeez.
in the original, like the first one, I was going, I was making XP like that. And now I play this, I get like 300 XP a match. I'm like,
Jeez.
I'm with 21 kills. I have like 4 deaths. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I had one time like kill of the game, and I made like 500 XP.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's not good news for that. I'm right there with you. I'd rather have it so that I can level up and like again like put that time in and really level up and get weapons upgraded, get armor upgraded, get abilities upgraded, or just new abilities or new things. But from what you're telling me is that Overwatch 2 is the exact same as the first one, but
Yeah.
just like in order to have the new stuff, you have to pay the $20.
They basically also just added a polish to it.
Okay, so they
That's it.
buffed up graphics a little bit.
I mean, it looked like a beautiful game. It was already a beautiful game to begin with, but it just had like PS4 graphics. But they just added probably a polishing tool to it and just kind of like, well, now I can add more textures and more polygons and yada 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 to this 3D model, and oh, look at that, it shines now in the light. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's basically all they just did. And I mean, if you just kind of look past that and you just play with your friends and you're just there to have fun, like, I feel like also, like, Overwatch doesn't piss me off as much as Call of Duty does. Like, the multiplayer, like, I just feel like is so fucking frustrating that I'm just like,
Right.
man, I feel like I'm working more than actually enjoying multiplayer. You know?
That's funny because
Like-
I can totally relate to that.
Like, I'm just like, fuck. give me a break. Like, I have people running on walls, shooting in, loading back in. I have someone escaping the gulag. Like, in Overwatch, I'm like, all right, well, here's 5-on-5. Here you go. Here's your abilities. Enjoy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not getting, like, sniped, someone jumping out of a jet plane when I'm already in a jet plane, and then sniping me midair, and then stealing my jet plane, and then giving me the bird. Like, that's Call of Duty. You know? No, it's Battlefield and Call of Duty.
I have
You
seen
know?
those clips too. The absolutely ridiculous clips of
Oh my
people pulling off
god. I
some
was just like,
crazy
yo, you
maneuvers.
gotta be kidding me.
Absolutely nuts.
Man. Yeah, overall, I like Overwatch a lot. It's a fun game, as I said before. I'm excited to see if they add more stuff in, or do we have to pay for more stuff? What's their scheme? I just kind of hope that they don't go like, because I know how greedy Activision, I know how greedy Blizzard is, and they're not in the greatest pool with their PR right now, and they're trying to, still recover from whatever, scandals that they've had and unfortunate things that have happened to female coworkers within their company. But like at the end of the day, like I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know if this is the result of stuff that happened and they never had time to polish it, so this is what they just came up with. Like
Just to hit their date, kind of thing.
yeah, man. I kind of wish they spent more time on it.
I wish
Like
there's. I hope that there's like more updates and everything to come, so that way, 2.0 is upgrade and more intricate of play for you and for everybody else. I hope that they polish that and get that done so that everyone enjoys it a little bit more.
But I heard you had some Modern Warfare news and stuff like that. Do
Yeah,
you have
so
any?
I
I know
just
I was shitting on it just like 2 seconds ago.
just kind of talking about Modern Warfare. I mean, I totally agree. Like a lot of the players and everything, we have a lot of campers that like to sit in little corners, and once you round off, it's like boom. Like there have been so many games where I'm frustrated because people are just literally just sitting around a corner and there's nothing you can do because you run literally right into them and all that. But I did get an opportunity to play the early release of Modern Warfare 2, and I will say the mechanics of it are a little bit more different than what we've seen in the past, but I'm actually excited about it. Um, so they took away slide cancel, but of course there's ways to be able to slide cancel and just sprint across on the map. I'm not going to give those away. So if you're really interested, there's plenty of material out there on how to do it. But what I feel like they did a really good job on this new one is actually slowing down play a little bit to make it feel more realistic. So it's not like you can sprint, slide, sprint, slide. Like I feel like that was a little bit unrealistic to what Call of Duty should be. Is like you're an actual soldier going in and trying to fulfill your mission. Even with like multiplayer and everything like that, there's still kind of that story with it, so to speak. So what I feel like Modern Warfare 2 has really done is like slow down that gameplay so that you feel more like that soldier that's running in and you know getting those kills, racking up those points, and doing all that. Obviously, it's not a free game, so we do get a lot of bonus stuff for how we play, how often we play, and XP. So I mean, using different guns will level up the guns. Um, Using different characters level up the characters for skins. Obviously, we do have a battle pass as well, so that battle pass gives you extra stuff as in the game and everything, which I'm excited to knock out this next battle pass to see what all is new and everything that's in there. The guns have been really fun and interesting. They're bringing back some of the old guns with a new twist to them. A lot of the people that I watch and follow have been using like the Fennec, which in the first Modern Warfare I've loved the Fennec. I've actually played with it some when I play Warzone, so there's that too. And going into Warzone. Warzone's going to be coming out. First, Modern Warfare 2 is out October 28th. So if you haven't pre-ordered, you might as well pre-order. But if you want to wait for it to be released, it's going to be the end of the month where that's actually going to be released. And then we have Warzone 2.0, which is going to be very exciting. I have not played it yet, but I did see the Call of Duty event where a lot of people were playing. I think it's going to be really interesting for no loadouts. So that way it's not like you're just playing to get money, to get your loadout, to then go and dominate the field. I think they've done a really cool thing where they're going to, again, slow down the gameplay so that it's going to take a little bit longer in order to actually get to the final circle. It's a little bit more satisfying, I would say, in a way, so that way you can, like, when you're actually in the battle, when you're dropping in, you're going to focus more on, like, the ground loot and everything. From what I've seen, I wish that they did more with, like, attachments and upgrades within the ground loot. Maybe that's something that they're going to work on and release when they do release 2.0 out. That's coming out November 16th, so that's very shortly after Modern Warfare 2 comes out. And then another cool thing they did is they have 3 semifinal circles. So, again, instead of having it all out, just run, now you have 3 smaller circles. So now you have smaller matches that are going on that all merge together into one final circle. I think that was so cool that they did that. And it's another, strategy when you're playing to work into those final 3 circles, put yourself in a position for those final 3 circles. But even more so, you don't know where that final circle is going to be. So then you have to work into the semifinal circle, finally win through that, then go to the final circle where then you either win the game or you lose. So I think they're doing a really cool job with slowing down gameplay and really making it so it's more realistic. I'm really looking forward to playing it a lot more. Of course, I'll be playing it and streaming it. I'm sure that you're going to be playing Overwatch and streaming it. So again, just follow us along and everything for those streams and everything. Besides all of that, that's kind of what I have updating for Warzone, so to speak. So with that being said, I think we've ran out of the talking points, Freddy.
That is true. I think we ran out of everything we wanted to talk about. Guys, don't forget to tune in whenever we just edit this part out. I'm trying to do a closer right now.
Well, if anything, we just want to thank everyone for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow along for more content. We're going to be posting our game playthroughs. Right now I'm playing Jedi Fallen Order on my Twitch, and I'll be posting the full streams and everything over here on YouTube as well. So that way, if you are interested to see myself play a video game, and you want to see me play a Star Wars video game, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I also stream, I'm playing some Vanguard multiplayer and some Warzone as well, mixed in with that gameplay. So if you're interested in watching that, make sure you check out my Twitch. It's Mr.S, all spelled one word together. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. But then we also have Dino Freddy's Twitch. Are you playing anything right now on Twitch?
Nope. Because I can't do it because of the inability of my computer.
Okay.
So I'm still waiting to upgrade my PC. Sorry, everybody that is waiting. But for right now, I'm going to be kind of playing with Steven while he plays on certain games, whatever multiplayer games we decide to play. We're going to try to put schedules out for upcoming videos and some polls, or if you guys want to see one of us do a playthrough together, like if we get together and we just kind of stream together in one place, and we could do that while you guys live chat with us. We're gonna post a lot of information soon. We're still getting all the channels sorted.
There's a lot coming and a lot more to be involved with. So again, like, subscribe on any platform that you feel like you would enjoy the certain medias that we are putting out. So thanks for watching. If you're listening, thanks for so much for letting us talk into your ears and talk nerdy to you. This has been the Absurd American Nerdcast with Dino Freddy and Mr.S. So until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.
Peace.
This has been the Absurd American Nerdcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on the bell for notification.